For Gatanga, we have 37,269,705. For Murang'a South,
Are those payables or receivables?
For Murang'a South, we didn't capture payables.
But they should be having payables.
Yeah, but we should be having.
Yeah, I think it's there. It's there. It's Murang'a South.
For Murang'a Water, we have 180,609,891. Okay, for Murang'a South, we have 146,570, 146,570,253.
So, Governor, you know these figures in your reports, even the earlier reports we looked at. So, what plan do you have to reduce these figures? These are actually pending bills, in other words.
Thank you, Chair. The companies will progressively pay. As you can see, as per the report from Murang'a, we have paid some money this month, and we promise we will continuously pay to all those whom we owe money, including the statutory bodies. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Murang'a County.
Thank you, Chair. I think I'll address myself to the issues, the response by the Governor relating to Murang'a South, to Murang'a Water and the sewerage company, that is Moasco. Chair, it was a submission of the Governor that the major reason why we have these payables is what is being referred to here as non-cost recovery water tariffs, which of course is a very convincing reason, Chair, because then costs could be going beyond revenues. But then, Chair, extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. So probably we may want to know what cost-cutting measures the water companies have devised, because if we cannot be able to use the new tariffs, then we need to cut on costs. And in mind, Chair, I have reducing, for example, reducing non-revenue water, what do you call it? So that is one of the cost measures that can be employed. So maybe I may want to know whether we have any such. And number two, Chair, it was a submission of the Governor that the other companies other than Moasco have been able to implement new tariffs. But Moasco was affected by, there was political interference. So maybe for clarity, this committee may want to know, because these companies operate in the same county, why political interference then affected only Moasco and not the other companies in terms of implementing the new water tariffs, Chair. The other thing that the government may need to shed light on is this figure of 44 million Kenya shillings that Moasco made as a capital investment to Tana Water Services Board. I mean, what was the arrangement when Murang'a, Moasco, made this particular investment of 44 million, which now they want to convert into something else. And Chair, I agree with the Governor totally that these regulatory bodies are charging a lot of money for nothing. But then even as the Governor throws the ball to our court, what efforts have they made as a Council of Governors? Because, Chair, I think it would carry more weight if a petition came to the Senate from the Council of Governors, so that then we can pursue it and see whether we can be able to then sort out this injustice that has been there. So, Chair, those are my concerns. And finally, on a light note, to remind the Governor, because he kept saying that rural woman will pay this, that rural woman will pay that, to just remind the Governor that they are also rural men. And basically, they are the ones who pay, not the rural women. Thank you, Chair.
So, Governor, maybe you can respond to that.
Chair, on a light note, wanawake ndio wenda kuchota maji.
When I was talking about pay, men are the ones who pay in the village.
Are you trying to imply women don't have money?
Just fighting for the boy child who is neglected everywhere.
Governor, proceed to respond to the queries.
Chair, allow me to yield to the MDs.
Chair and honorable members, I must say that we have done every effort to improve on efficiency so that we remain afloat. Apart from reduction of non-revenue water, we have made efforts to work closely with the communities to ensure that we reduce vandalism, and also work closely with our staff on nightfall measurements to ensure that we are able to get the right pressure at the right time, so that very little water is wasted and we are able to remain afloat and operate the company. I must also say that around 2017-2018, I think we did investments before enactment of Water Act 2016, basically around Maragua area, Maragua town and Murang'a town. At that time, the responsibility was to develop assets was the responsibility of the de facto water service boards. When we did that, we requested the CEO through a letter in attachment Appendix 1, requesting them to offset the bill, which was amounting to around 44 million shillings. I think if they did that, the debt will reduce. But I must also commit, WASREB, we are paying and will continue paying so that the payables reduces. It is also important to note that WASREB is charging 4% on regulation, and we are operating on tariffs that did not capture the 4%. I think that's one of the reasons why the payables are accumulating. We are not billing the customer, but WASREB is charging 4%.
Chair, another MD.
Sorry for cutting short the Governor, Chair. The investment of 44 million with Tana Water and Services Board.
And then on that, you had indicated that you wanted to convert it into equity capital. How would you do that for a public body like Murang'a Water?
Yes.
Chair, I think we did that investment on behalf of Tana Water Board, and therefore we were requesting, because they, even to date, they hold the assets on behalf of the government, because the issue of transfer plan has not been concluded. Because Tana Water is a public body, Murang'a Water is a public body, and we did investment on their behalf, we were requesting them to convert it to equity, because basically we did on behalf of them.
There is the arrangement that I'm interested in. Moasco did it on behalf of TWSB. What was the arrangement? You know, if you do something on my behalf, we have to have an arrangement. Why are you doing it on my behalf? That is maybe what I would want to be clear on. And
Chair, I think at that time we had requested for investment from Tana Water Services Board, but when we were doing the investments, we notified them that we are doing this investments because of the demand of the residents of Murang'a. At that time, they did not have the capex. Later, when we finished those projects, we requested them to offset. That is something maybe we need to get time to understand further, because you know the issues of shareholding are defined in the Water Act very clearly.
it's my understanding that Murang'a Water wanted to make some investment to meet a growing demand. But if I got it right, it is actually TWSB that was supposed to do this on behalf of Murang'a. But then I think Moasco had more than sufficient resources and invested on did an investment that was supposed to be done by Tana Water and Services Board.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Can I have a submission by Murang'a South? And then we move to the next query on that matter. Murang'a South?
Yes, Chair.
You need to stand up so that members can see your face.
Okay, Chair and honorable members. On the issue of long outstanding payables, we have done some commitment or a memorandum of understanding with the different agencies like the CPF, TANA, WASLEP, and we are paying them on monthly basis. It might be not much, but the commitment that we have done, we are able to pay as we have agreed.
And what timelines will you clear?
We committed ourselves on monthly basis, so the figures are much, so it might take some time to pay.
So the point I want to say is that these queries have been recurring. The query on outstanding payables. I think, and we have interacted, I think this must be the fourth time we have interacted, and the queries are not disappearing from your records. So I think, Governor, you need to task your people to give more emphasis on this query so that the debts are reduced. If you come and you say you have reduced at least 50%, that's better than not doing much. So I think we need to see more effort around there, reducing the payables to acceptable level. So if there is no any query, honorable members, I can request the auditor to proceed to the next query.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The other cross-cutting issue is long outstanding receivables. We have two companies, that is Katamati and Katanga Water. So we
can use Katamati.
Katamati.
So you can proceed to read the query.
report of the Auditor General on Gatamathi Water and Sanitation Limited for the year ended 30th June 2025. They had a qualified opinion, and the paragraph specifically, the statement of financial position reflects a net balance of Kenya shillings 40,716,948 for trade and other receivables as disclosed in Note 15 to the financial statements. The note further reflects Kenya shillings 63,378,080 as gross trade receivable, out of which impairment allowance of Kenya shillings 22,661,132 was provided for during the year, which is an increase of Kenya shillings 2,473,997 from the prior year audited financial statement, amount of Kenya shillings 20,187,135. However, the increase was not supported by specific list of customers declared doubtful during the year. In addition, gross balance of trade and other receivables includes an amount of Kenya shillings 36,452,270 in respect of dormant accounts composed of Kenya shillings 22,662,132 and Kenya shillings 13,791,137 for individual and institutions accounts respectively, out of which outstanding debts amounting to Kenya shillings 17,059,125 had been dormant for more than 5 years, representing 47% of the total dormant accounts. In addition, the company does not have a policy in place to guide on the criteria for the provision of bad and doubtful debts. In the circumstances, the completeness and recoverability of trade and other receivables could not be confirmed.
Governor, the management response.
The company has a policy of disconnecting customers who have accumulated balances for over 3 months. Over time, the list of disconnected customers has been rising as majority of those disconnected are not paying their debts, leading to an accumulation of 36,452,270 for the dormant connections. To manage these debts, a debt management and revenue collection section has been constituted, which has been engaging customers for an agreed payment modalities as they are reconnected back. This has assisted the company to revive 549 connections for the period between 1st July 2025 to 31st December 2025, who have paid a total of 1,132,322. We have further reviewed the individual debtors' balances and have determined that, based on available evidence, a high percentage of debts remain fully recoverable, and the company has a target of reducing dormant accounts balances by 10% in the current financial year, Annexure 1. Further, the management has recommended for board approval a debt swapping of customer deposits and water debts with an intention of reducing dormant accounts receivables for those customers proving difficult to reconnect. Provision for bad and doubtful debts. We have assessed and made a provision for impairments of 22,661,132, basing on all customers on cutoff at the close of the financial year, an increase of 2,473,997 shillings from the prior year has been attached. Annexure 2. Provision for bad and doubtful debt policy. Regarding lack of policy to guide on provision for bad and doubtful debt, the company has a debt management policy in place, which also anchors in it the policy on provision for bad and doubtful debts. We have reviewed and resolved to develop a standalone policy for provision for bad and doubtful debts Annexure 3, debt management policy. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Auditor, your comments on the response, even as you also talk about the other companies.
Thank you, Chair, for the issue of debt management policy. Of course, we have looked at it, but it lacks, what we are querying, it lacks the clear criteria of now they are going to provide for bad debts. As you can be able to see, Chair, some of the outstanding has been there for more than 5 years, 17 million, 9,125. So the policy has been developed, but it's not clear on which criteria they use to be able to write off.
Honorable members, you know what we just need to know, Governor, on this particular query is what efforts are being made to recover this money from these people. Are there any demands letters that have been written? Is there any court action? And of course, who are these people? Where is the list? Like Gatamathi, I don't see anything. I don't see. We have a list of revived connection, but who are these people who owe the company money? I think that information is missing. And then in that list, who are the institutional customers and who are individual customers?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
3 points. Point 1, yes, it is true. We might have missed some documents that would show you who are these people. Maybe if you give us some few days, we can provide it. Number 2, what are we doing? Let me start with the individuals. I think that advice of doing letters prosecution makes a lot of sense, and probably if the companies have not been doing that, maybe I'll sample one, then the Gatamathi to tell us whether he has been doing that. We agree we need to be doing that. But allow me to comment on the institutional. And there are 2 main entities that give water companies issues when it comes to payment. The first one are schools, and they always cite capitation delay in Nairobi, and also very little resources that parents pay. And you know, now disconnecting a school has a moral issue. I think something needs to be done to see how to go around that issue of payment by schools. We pray that they get money from Nairobi capitation frequently, so that when the companies push them, they are able to pay. But let me finish with the other major institution that has an issue, that used to have an issue with payments of bill, the hospitals. We are happy and to report that the future looks very positive for our healthcare. I will not talk of other places because I don't know. I'll just talk of Murang'a. I say so because when we were analyzing revenue between July 2025 and December 31st, 2025, the hospital, all the clinics, the hospitals and health centers they give Murang'a about 350 million. That's the money they were able to generate. Compared the same period, the year 2024, I think they had collected about 180. So it's like for the last 6 months, the hospitals have been able to generate double of their revenue. That impacts on their ability to pay their debtors, including Kenya Power and water companies. Yesterday, I asked MDs, and they told me that the hospitals now are able to service their water, unlike before. And in fact, if the trend continues, I think the problem will be historical debts, but not present debts. And therefore, in fact, some water companies that used to have a problem of being underwater financially, like Kahuti, I think it is now out of the red. When I look at material uncertainty, I didn't see Kahuti and Murang'a water. So the point is, if the revenue of all our medical facilities continue being on a positive trajectory, then the water companies will also be paid their money. Then we shall be left with the legacy debts. Maybe Katamadi, MD.
Thank you, Chair, for Wadamadi of those data. We started by analyzing the historical data, and we found that some accounts are as old as they were installed in 1970, and they have been dormant ever since. So what we did, we are doing an audit to verify all those accounts that either the owners died a long time ago, but the sons and daughters have no connection, so nobody can pay that account. So what we are doing, we have not completed. We are collecting that data, maybe for guidance from the county, and how those accounts can be waived. So in the next two months we shall be through to clear everything. And also, since we got the new tariff from 1st July, we have started declaring those statutory deductions, staff deductions, to the tune of 4.2 million. And as we are laying down strategies, we are going to increase more as time goes on. Thank you.
Chair.
Yeah, proceed.
Chair, I listened to the governor carefully about the success of the FIF system in hospitals. I would personally say maybe we become cautiously pleased or excited, because it could be that the law we passed is working. It could be that the health management systems you have put in place are working. But it could also, on the other hand, be that the clientele in hospitals is increasing. And that could be, you know, it could show that our people are sick, and there's something we are not doing well in terms of preventive measures. The less people visit hospitals, the better for us as a country. I would expect institutions like schools to be performing better in terms of payments of their water bills, because parents, I believe, even if they are waiting for capitation, parents really try to, meet their obligations, education for their children. And so, in fact, it will be hospitals that you will be grappling to deal with in terms of the water bills, and not academic institutions. These are vibrant, healthy people, and parents should be able to meet their obligations. So anyway, the law could be working, the systems that have been put in place could be working, and if it is the systems that are working in the law, then we need to put also working systems in these other institutions, like the municipalities, like these other academic institutions. Yeah, Chair, I just wanted us to be careful.
Now, while at the issue of FIF, Governor, I am looking at the report by Murang'a South Water, and in their submission, Maragua District Hospital owes the company 11 million. So they are getting FIF, but they are not able to pay. So you see there is one issue about ability to pay and not pay. So Maragua owes the water company 11 million.
MD, yes, comment on Murang'a Hospital.
Chairman and honorable members, I must say
that's Murang'a South. That's Murang'a South. It's not Murang'a.
Okay, so Murang'a South.
Yes, Chairman and honorable members, the accumulated 11 million, it is the previous debt, not the current one. So it is still in our books, despite the area currently being served by Murang'a Water. So the previous debts is in our books, but currently Murang'a Hospital is really paying to Murang'a Water.
Murang'a Water.
Chair, I must say that there is a lot of improvement in terms of settling of debts, including historical debts. And as the MD of Murang'a Water, I serve in both towns, Maragua and Murang'a town, and I can say that there is improvement in debts, and currently they are paying to reduce the historical debt.
Yeah, you see now you've taken us to another query. You've taken us to another query about encroachment on each other's stuff. Encroachment of water service area between the two companies. Anyway, that one will come to it later. Honorable members, Senator Mbogwa.
Maybe I just want a clarification on what the two water bodies through the governor are doing on these debts which were ceded from one company to the other. Because the companies are there, I can see there is a figure of almost 17 million. I think it was ceded to Murang'a by Maragua.
Chair.
Proceed.
Yes, Chair. Maybe I may want to seek clarification from, I think, basically all the MDs on the place of deposits when a customer is being connected. And I ask this because of this accumulated debts, Chair. Of course, we have used Tagatamadi as a case study in this particular issue of accumulated debt. And it was the submission by the governor that there is a policy of disconnecting customers after failing to pay for 3 consecutive months, I believe. But what exactly is the place of the deposit that a customer pays before they are connected? Because it should be sufficient to cover a bill of about 3 months. So that is something, Chair, that has not come out clearly. And second, Chair, I think I want to support my former Vice Chair in education, that educational institutions should actually not fail to pay water bills. And I say that as an educationist, because the needy institutions, Chair, are public, especially public secondary, private day secondary schools, which of course do not incur huge bills. Boarding schools, boarding secondary schools should not, give as a reason failure by government to remit capitation, because we know capitation runs to about 22,000 Chair per annum, and they are allowed, about another 30-something thousand. So I think, and I want to advise this as an educationist, if a boarding public school has not paid its water bill, disconnect. The students will put pressure on the administration, and they will pay that debt immediately. So please, next time, don't tell us about boarding schools. We can discuss day schools, but boarding schools that have not unpaid bills, of course they are refusing to pay. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor, you can respond to the two senators. And then I think we make progress.
Senator Bobo, on that issue, I think I will engage the two MDs to find an amicable way to settle that issue of the intercompany settlement agreement. On the comment by our Senator Nyoto, I think we have heard, and that's noted. Thank you.
Governor, just like the payable query, the receivable query, it is recurring. It is recurring, and I think you need to also put an eye on it so that the level of receivables goes down. Because if you provide water and you are not able to get your money, then you'll get into problems of going concern. You can see some of the companies have an issue of going concern because they are not able to maintain profitability, and also their working capital is headed into the negative. So I think that will be very important. Moving forward, we will be expecting that you will look at that and reduce the receivables further. The next query, Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. The next query is on revenue water, and it touches on two.
Okay, on this one, because we have dealt with it so many times, okay, we'll adapt the written responses as given. Just indicate the figures for each of the companies, and maybe you can tell us the previous figures so that we can see whether there is any improvement or not.
Well-guided, Chairs. So the next issue was touching on customer deposit and Katanga water. Katanga water.
A report of Water General on Gatanga Water and Sanitation Company. They had a qualified opinion. So the paragraph is on unsupported refundable deposits and prepayments. The statement of financial position reflects Kenya shillings 16,463,771 in respect to refundable deposits and prepayments as disclosed in Note 35 to the financial statements. The balance includes Kenya shillings 15 million 656,021 in respect to customer deposit. However, the deposit account statement reflects Kenya shillings 649,446, resulting to unsupported and unaccounted refundable deposit balance of Kenya shillings 15 million and 6,575. In the circumstance, the validity, accuracy, and completeness of refundable deposit and prepayment balance of Kenya shillings 16,463,771 could not be confirmed.
Governor, your response?
The company is committed to replenishing the customer deposits. The repayment is progressively being made in financial year 2025-2026, and the bank account is building up the amount Annexure 7.0.
Auditor, which other companies have this query?
Chair, also Katamati has the same issue. Query on unsupported customers deposits.
So 2 companies.
Sure, Chair.
So, Governor, what are you doing about it?
Chair, we have told the MDs to ensure they get that money back into their account. They have promised they will do so within a year. Thank you, Chair. And also, never to touch that account again for other things. Thank you, Chair.
And any member with a comment or query? So Gatamaki, you want to repay 150,000 a month, and you have 4.2 million. So that will not be repaid within a year. It will be more than 1 year, Governor. It will be more than 1 year. The law money is borrowed from this account, it should be repaid within 12 months. And there must be a board approval. Money in the next 12 months. Senator Nyutu?
Chair, I think I have no comment, but maybe just to remind you, to go to Murang'a, you have to use the road. It can be messy after 5. So, Chair, just note that.
I know some of you are staying beyond you are staying in Kiambu County, Mashinani, others in Murang'a County. But, you know, members of this committee are still energetic. They have been here since 8 a.m. and they are still energetic. So the direction I'm giving on customer deposits is that please regularize this account before the next engagement, because it is illegal to borrow without the board approval and without outside the 12 months. You must repay within 12 months. That goes to the companies which have this query. So let's go back, and I think that's the second last query, non-revenue water. I just said the figures. Give us the figures, and then we'll discuss.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe as we do the figures, we can go to the last one, which is material uncertainty. Then we,
material uncertainty, you know, is related to that one. Maybe we can go to, as you compute the figures, there is something interesting in about ownership. In Murang'a South Water, you know, Governor, we really pushed hard on this matter of ownership, and I can see it is still a challenge in Murang'a South Water. Delayed transfer of company ownership. Maybe you can tell us what is happening here, Governor. That the company is still owned by Tana Water Services Board.
Murang'a West, which is county.
Murang'a? I'm having this report here. The Murang'a South Water and Sanitation Company.
It's south.
South.
Yes. Yeah, just explain to us the problem, Auditor, and then the Governor will respond.
Okay. The paragraph states that review of the memorandum association of the company revealed that the share capital stands at a balance of Kenya shillings 100,000 divided into 5,000 shares of Kenya shillings 20 each, with 499,999 shares owned by the Chief Executive Officer of the defunct Tana Water Services Board, and 1 share owned by the county government of Murang'a. This is contrary to clause 3.31.1 of the Water Services Regulatory Board Corporate Governance Guidelines of 2018, which provides that the shareholder of a water service provider will be for public interest and remain in the county government. The county government of Murang'a has not instituted measures necessary to assume the complete ownership of the water company as provided under the guidelines. Although the company's correspondences indicate that the company has initiated the transfer process, the matter has stalled at negotiations between the county government and the national government. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law.
Governor, you can proceed and explain to us.
Chair, help us. I think this question is best answered by 2 people, CS Water or his PS, and Tana, because we have done our best. We have written letters, we have gone to the offices, no substantive response. I feel at this stage, this committee acting on its own motion, or Senate being moved by whichever party, can summon those 2 entities to respond to this. We are now headed to seeking renewal of our political mandate. This discussion started 3 years ago, and that has we have not achieved the transfer of shares to Murang'a County from national government. So we really don't know what is the solution. We really believe that probably the Senate can help us. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor, your comments before I allow members to chip in.
Thank you, Chair. I think since it is an issue of which need to be sorted between the national entity and the county. I believe we need that guidance from the committee. Thank you.
Yes, Senator of Murang'a, I hope you understand this problem. So
Yes, I do, Chair, and I think taking the cue from what the governor has said, Chair, this committee has the power to invite or summon the CS Water together with the county government of Murang'a, so that we can be able to have the two parties, Chair, in my opinion, the two parties present, their side of the story, so that we can know exactly where the problem lies. Because this is the only company that is yet to be transferred fully to the county government. And the county government of Murang'a needs to be accountable to its people in provision of services, especially also in that particular area that Murang'a South serves. So, Chair, it would be my recommendation and suggestion that you find it fit, as the chair of this committee, to invite to the same meeting the CS Water, who should tag along his PS, and the county government of Murang'a, so that you can be able to sort out this matter once and for all. Chair, that is my very strong feeling. Thank you.
Senator Mbugu.
Chair, after March, when we are done with this exercise we are undertaking, the committee will have ample time to address these other emerging issues. So we can list this one as one of the issues the committee will be dealing with from April of this year.
Very well. I think this one, clerk, you can flag it as one of the issues that we can deal with. Meanwhile, Governor, you can provide to us I've seen there is correspondences from the water company to Tana Water. We also need to get some correspondences between you and the ministry. And there was an MOU that you signed between the county government and the national government. So if you provide that information, clerk, you can trigger a letter to the ministry and suggest a date after March when we can invite the CS to come and appear before us, because ideally this company should belong to the county government as per the Water Act. So you need to, Governor, you need to provide those documentation to this committee. Maybe you can indicate to us how much time do you need to provide all that documentation?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks. So you provide it to the clerk and we will take it up. So I think the last query we will handle is non-revenue water. I can see members, they are very tired. And as we discuss, we can relate that with the issue of going concern. So just give us the figures of non-revenue water, as I have indicated.
Thank you, Chair. For non-revenue water, it's not applicable to Murang'a Water. I think they are within the threshold, but across the 4 other water companies, for Murang'a West, it stands at 44%, Katamati at 53%, Katanga at 42%, and Murang'a South at 39%. So I was checking the trend even the last year for, like now, Katanga was still at that position, 42%. I was almost completing the rest, but they are above the threshold of 25%. Thank you.
So, Governor, maybe you tell us what steps you are taking to address this. And revenue seems to be stuck above 25%.
Thank you, Chair. Murang'a County has bought meters and given them to each water companies. The last time we bought 4,000. A key reason for non-revenue water is lack of metering. We believe those meters will go a long way to reduce that problem. Secondly, we have also invited, one company has invited, that's Gatamavi Water Police, to enforce. There were some arrests. They were publicized. The idea was also to send a warning to people who are stealing water that there are repercussions. That was a positive effect. The third attempt to remedy that issue is increasing water coverage. When people want something and that something is not readily available, they steal it. So Murang'a, as per various records, the water connection level is 70%. Out of 300,000 households on average that are in Murang'a, that's about 210 households that have piped water, which is among the best in the country. These 90,000 households that don't have this piped water, we are happy. For the last 2-3 years, we have increased water connection by about 20,000 new households collectively. So meaning 90,000, because that was the data of about 2023. Now we believe it has gone down to 70,000 households, which for me is a good rate of water connection. If we were to invest more, these 70,000 people who don't have piped water, they will not, some of them, I'm not saying everyone, but they will lack the incentive to do illegal connections to push water to their homesteads. And we are doing our best. We believe if within 3 years we have brought in 20,000 new customers, if we go with the same rate, probably in the next 5-7 years, we will be, almost every household will have a water connection, and therefore we suspect that will pull down non-revenue or water. However, the problem persists, particularly because there is a perception in Murang'a, and I suspect almost everywhere in Kenya, that water is expensive. And therefore, some people may say, I won't pay because this thing is expensive. I better look for a way around it. I get the money at no cost using illegal means. Also, I'm aware some people have an incentive to use the water for irrigation. And once they do so, definitely they know they can't pay domestic water tariffs when the water is being used for irrigation. So that also means, apart from domestic water, the county government has to look for money and do what we call irrigation systems to avoid people using this water to irrigate. So the point is, it's a journey. It's a journey, and I'm not saying we are there yet. It will take time, but when you analyze the water companies for the last few years, there have been a little bit of some improvement, but we are not there yet. Thank you.
Yeah, just one question and then we'll close. I can sympathize with the members who've been here since 8.
Yes, Governor, I hear you. And from the discussion we've had this afternoon, if you solve this one problem, you will have solved mainly all the other problems which are being raised about the payables and everything. This morning we engaged with 2 other counties on the same. One of them from our good friend, the Senator of Makueni, and he was able to demonstrate to us a very innovative way of trying to fight the illegal connections. He has come up with some smart kiosks where they are paying, I think, 3 shillings per 20 water jerry can. It is not manned. There is a way they are doing it using Safaricom, and it has really worked. For mail water, they got help from JICA, and they surprised us that they were able to reduce the non-revenue water to 19%, which is very commendable. So maybe you can learn from the best, and maybe by the time you're coming here next year, things would be different. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know, there is non-revenue must be looked at from 2 angles. We have losses arising from commercial losses, and we have the physical losses. Many of the companies try to focus more on the physical losses, and they disregard the commercial losses. Commercial losses, that's where theft happens, either the billing or at water theft. So I think you need to advise your teams to ensure there is a clear separation of those 2 categories of water losses. What is percentage is physical losses, and what percentage is commercial losses, and what strategies have you been put in place to address commercial and physical losses. You may find that some of the losses are just through fraud, that maybe water is not being billed and things like those. So I think we want to encourage you to ensure that when you make presentation on these non-revenue water, it should be categorized into the 2, physical loss and commercial loss. So
I heard there is a new category of administrative loss.
That one can be put under commercial. So honorable members, one, I must thank you for the energy you demonstrated today.
Yeah, Chair, but just a final, and on a light touch, final comment. The governor has spoken about around 300,000 people, I think, and around 200 are connected. Is that what you say? Yeah, households. Chair, you know, that's quite something. Seated here, coming from another county, I'm like, there are Kenyans who have reached Singapore. You know? I think this
is it Singapore through Canaan or Canaan through Singapore? Okay, thank you very much, honorable members. Let me allow only the Senator from Murang'a to make a closing remark, and the Governor, and then we adjourn.
Thank you. I hope that my former Vice Chair, you know, she was my Vice Chair in education.
Yeah, it was.
Before I was hounded out by the same man who wanted to kill me on Sunday. Chair, I hope she's not using that Singapore thing in a malicious way, Chair.
No.
I just want to challenge her and any other county that these allocations that are made to counties can actually be able to perform these devolved functions. There is no reason why the people of Kajiado, where Senator Tobiko comes from, should continue going without water 13 years after devolution. But Chair, to come to the matter of today, I think I want to thank my governor and his team, because one thing that the governor is known for is that he honors all the summons, all the invitations by committees of this house. Chair, you know there are governors who do not want to come before these committees to answer questions related to public resources that have been put under them. And for that, I want to thank my governor and his team. And of course, there is always room for improvement. As we have been told by Senator Mbugua, I think it's good to maybe benchmark with the counties that have been able to arrest this very big problem of non-revenue water and see what can be done. Of course, Murang'a is the best, but there could be other aspects that we can borrow from other counties to be able to arrest the problems that we have. In the meantime, Chair, thank you also for your patience. Thank you for the job that you do, and so that all public resources are accounted for. For to our water companies, they must continue serving our people. And my challenge, final challenge to the governor, just pursue the issue of tariffs from the council, at the level of the Council of Governors, and what we may need to do, we'll be more than willing to do. But I think, as I had said earlier, it will carry more weight if, as such a matter, a petition or whatever it is going to be is brought to the Senate from the Council of Governors. Chair, thank you very much. I say God bless each one of us until next meeting. I don't know when it is going to be. Thank you.
Governor, your comments?
Thank you, Chair, the committee, and my senator, and everyone for inviting us here. We believe in coming and answering questions. On the issue of non-revenue water, thank you. We have noted. CEC and CU will definitely go see the good work that is happening in Makueni and also in Meru, but also Nyeri. I think Nyeri is always ranked the best. I think it's called Nyawasco. Yeah.
Companies are improving. Even Nanyuki has now improved.
Yeah.
Below 25%.
Yeah, so Nyawasco has a very good reputation. I think they are always below 20. Yes, what you have said, like Kipia, we were there, by the way. I met Governor Irungu somewhere, and he told me how he was able to solve the problem of lack of water of Nanyuki town. And we sent MD Murang'a South and Chief Officer Sam here to go and see a very innovative idea on how to solve water issues in Nanyuki. And we were very surprised. You know, I think the lesson I learned is that national government has an issue in terms of at times the kind of money they do to do a program can be so humongous that if a county government decides to do the same work, it will achieve the same intended purpose at a much cheaper amount. Why do I say so? I was told that project in Nanyuki was originally meant to use almost over $500 million. But that company in Laikipia did it 60 million Kenya shilling. And we are thinking maybe in the long term, we need to go to Abadeas and also do the same work and put more water in our pipelines. Finally, maybe in conclusion to what Senator Tobiko has just mentioned, I will first congratulate leaders who are in Murang'a a long time ago, who started this work of putting water in Murang'a. I'll mention too, Kiano. Dr. Kiano was MP Kiharu, where I come from, though I never found him, but he was legendary in terms of getting piped water in Kiharu constituency. The other one was called Mushegi, Honorable Mushegi of Kandara and Gatanga. The two are known to have put water pipelines way back in 1970s. Unfortunately, when Kenneth Matiba came to vie as an MP for Kiharu, and Kiano people are saying, you see, I've put water. Matiba people said, water is not milk. and Kiano lost. So at times in this game, but it's the right thing to do, the moral thing. Yeah, despite losing, everyone knows Kiano did a good thing in terms of water connection. And I recall when I was an MP and we were doing water projects using CDF then, because we used to allow places like Kambiroa and Apambiri. Would always remember Kiano, how he was told that water is not milk. I'll finalize by saying that members of the county assembly who are not here, they have also done a good job. We have an informal, let me call it an informal ward fund. Yeah, it's not in the law, but it's just an understanding. Where members of county assembly, they bring project to us of water, and then we buy for them pipes. I say so because many have done a fantastic job to reticulate water. Of course, I know places like Lower Gaturi, the problem persists. I know several parts of Kakuzi Mitumbiri, the problem persists, but places like Idanga, when you look the kind of work being done there using pipelines and community projects, we see some positive trajectory. So thank you, Chair, and we will continue. We know we have a lot of problems, a lot of gaps, many of them. So we know that we are very far away from achieving what we want. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for coming, and honorable members for staying this late from 8 in the morning and doing a record 5 meetings in a day. So I think that's commendable. We are trying to beat the deadline of 31st March when we are supposed to comply with Article 229 of the Constitution on audit timelines. So, and we hope that once Senate achieves that, then National Assembly should follow suit, so that the next shareable revenue will be based on the latest audited reports. I think that's a very important thing that, Governor, you can pick it up. I know you have done other serious matters like the bursary. You also need to pick up this one, because if Senate is going to comply, then there is no reason why the National Assembly should not comply when we have a court ruling on the same. So that will really help counties in terms of their revenue. So, honorable members, at this point we adjourn until tomorrow at 9.